This is Annabelle Gauberti and you are listening to Lawfully Creative, my chance to talk with professionals in the creative industries, to hear their stories, what inspires their creation, what decisions changed their careers, what relationships influenced their work. Today's episode is brought to you by clarifies, our London and Paris-based law firm focused on advising the creative industries. Subscribe to our podcast Lawfully Creative or catch up with our original shows on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube and SoundCloud. As you may know, my practice in the creative industries as a lawyer for creatives has driven me towards fashion people, and I attend probably 6 times a year fashion trade shows, in particular in Paris, in particular also at fashion trade shows such as Trenoy, Man and also Woman, Capsule. While I'm there, I meet a lot of fashion designers, prospects, clients. I also see what the trends are in the market, whether the fashion industry is doing well. I listen to what the market has to say, really, and I make contacts. Through this attendance to the Trenoy trade shows, I met various Russian designers. In particular, designers were working with fur, with a lot of fur, and doing some delightful hats and other garments and accessories out of fur. And through these Russian fashion designers working mainly with fur, I met a fur trader, Natasha Korol, and I decided to catch up with her in London because that's where she lives, in order to sit down and talk about her activities as a fur trader. How original is that, being a fur trader? You can have a listen here. I mean, hear what it takes to be a fur trader and to develop the business in this particular field, having to be mobile and etc. So here goes. Hello, podcast listeners. This is Annabelle from clarifies and Lawfully Creative. It's nice to be back on air, and today this is with Natasha Korol, who is a fur trader working at her own company called Scarlett Rosefinch. So, how are you today, Natasha? You're just back from
Copenhagen. Just from the auction for 8 days. The sale went well and everything okay.
Wonderful. You've been living in the UK for a long time?
Yes, since 1994.
And did you always practice your trade out of Europe, or did you also practice your trade in the US or in Russia?
My main trade is in Russia and Ukraine. I have one customer in Argentina and one customer in Poland. All the rest of the trade is in Russia and Ukraine.
How interesting. So basically most of your customers are not European based, apart from Poland?
No.
Russia mainly. And why is that? So don't they have some nice furs over there?
They have nice furs, but the majority of nice furs produced in Europe or America.
Aha.
This is why we...
Okay, China is out of the picture. They do fur, but it's terrible.
China is not. They don't have good quality yet.
Do you want to describe a little bit the process that you went through when you were during those 8 days in Copenhagen or in Scandinavia? Did you visit some farms? Did you?
No, it's an auction which going from morning till night, and we had 6.5 million mink. And some other fur, chinchilla.
6.5 million minks.
Yes, this time.
Is that a lot?
It's a lot.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Next time they promise 8 million mink, which is even more.
Are they being bred in farms?
Yes,
okay.
in Denmark mainly. Denmark is the biggest production in the world almost.
Of everything or of mink?
No, of mink.
Ah, right. And then chinchilla, you said?
Chinchillas also produce good, very, very good quality, the best in the world chinchilla in Copenhagen, in Denmark, generally.
Okay. What about fox? Where do you usually find the fox?
Foxes in Helsinki, and they're produced in Sweden and Norway.
Helsinki, Sweden and Norway. Well, in a way, it's quite reassuring to hear that it's mostly the Scandinavian countries which are the main producers of fur.
Yeah.
In a way, it's quite reassuring. It's all this very, not laid back, but efficient and caring Scandinavian countries which deal into this fur trade, because I suppose that their practices are really top-notch in terms of caring for the animals.
Yes, we have new organization. In fact, it's called Welfare which is new organization, which is based on only one thing, to look after animal well-being. This is very strict. It's very strict. Each farm will be inspected 3 times a year, and then every year after this, if they give certification, once a year, just to give an eye. And this is coming into effect this winter.
I think this is a very good move from the industry. And who set it up? Is it like a trade body? Or?
This is 3 auctions set it up.
Okay.
It's Copenhagen Fair, it's a Saga, and NAFA. It's 3 auctions set it up. And from next year, it will be no uncertified fair at the auction at all. All farm will be sold at this 3 auction will be certified by this organization.
That's a great move. Because a lot of, I suppose it's mainly women who wear fur, to be fairly honest. And a lot of women, especially in the UK or the US, were like, oh, I'm not going to wear fur because I'm concerned that it's not being ethically produced, raised and killed.
No, that's just not possible.
This is great.
You know, we have so many restrictions and so many certifications for mink farming and for fox farming.
Okay.
That it's not possible to produce first of all, if you not keep animals well, it's not going to be a nice fare, so you're cutting your own throat anyway. So you have to keep them in a good conditions, and plus
it's a long-term plan,
and also as you said, lots of customers today inquire how these animals have been bred. We don't want to buy fur which is not properly been raised. They see few shots from China, which is terrible. We don't do this. We don't.
I've seen some videos from America.
This is terrible. So I think this is very good organization.
Fantastic.
To keep it's on track. You can keep this.
Thank you.
This welfare.
Thank you very much, Natasha.
So this is something which we all involved: trade, auctions, and consumers and retailers as well, because they will participate in this as well.
It seems to be under the auspices of European, for Europe, probably, exactly, EU standards, welfare quality. It's really cool. And so you said that sometimes you also go to America for...
Yes. We go to Canada. In Canada they have very big auction, which they have wild fur as well, not raised fur. It's about 20% of all fur is wild fur. All the rest is farm fur.
Okay.
But if this is also very heavily regulated, and we have for rare animals skins, we have CITES, which is international organization which look after the amount of skins you can take.
What's it called again?
CITES. CITES office, it's in every country. It's international, and they regulate how many skins you can take. For example, lynx cat, you can't take as many as you want. You have to take a certain quantity, and this is regulated by the CITES. Every skin has a tag and a number. You can check with CITES office whether they're allowed this or not. So we're not dealing with skins which are nobody going to touch that.
So just to clarify this point, when you go, for example, to Canada to an auction and you buy some fur there, do you have to travel back on the plane with your CITES?
No, it goes with the goods.
Oh, it goes with goods. It doesn't travel with you in flight. No, okay.
It's
so you put it on cargo, or well, is it on the flight or is it by sea?
No, it's usually on the plane.
On the plane, okay. So it's quicker. Oh, right, okay. And so you just put it in the depot at the airport, and
auction people do.
Auction people, okay.
Shipping agent does this, and every single shipment certified by the CITES and accompanied by CITES. Without CITES, we cannot touch the goods. It's all legal.
Of course.
If this is rare fur, but some of the wild fur, like raccoon, for example, so many of them.
Okay.
It's not under threat.
Okay. Really? Yeah. I see what you mean. It's not going to be instinct.
No.
And so going back to Canada, for example, where you say that part of it is wild fur. Canada, I know, is also super protective of minorities and also they protect nature, etc. So do they sort of audit and keep a trail of how many animals are being caught and to make sure that they are.
They give this number in advance. They know how many lynx cat or lynx you can take or otter you can take from the wild fur.
Okay.
And they give you to the hunters who hunt the things.
Okay.
They give number how many license, how many you can.
I see.
You can hunt.
Within your license.
They give license to people who go to the forest.
Yeah, I get it. And in the license, they do have to respect a certain quota.
Yes. Nobody can hunt without license in Canada.
Yeah, sure. And if you have
America.
And you can't basically kill animals over the quota, otherwise you will get fined or good.
Not possible.
Wow. So
not be able to sell them because without CITES you're not going to do anything.
Of course, you're not going to do anything.
All these animals, they have a CITES list, and they have to accompany every shipment by CITES document and by yellow tag, which is the number on every skin. So it's very strict.
Yeah, it is very strict.
Very strict.
I remember I did I went to the Fashion Law Boot Camp back in May 2014 in Fordham School of Law in New York. These 2 weeks boot camp, as it was called, was really for me the trigger after which I decided to found my firm, focusing on fashion and fashion law, etc., luxury. And I remember we had one session on fur trade. And at the time, so that, as I said, 2012, sorry, I was in 2012, May 2012, and at the time I was under the impression, at least the message conveyed by Susan Scafidi, the teacher, the professor there, was that it was fairly unregulated as a trade, especially in the US and China. So what is your view on this? Do you think that...
China is definitely unregulated.
Okay, totally unregulated.
Europe is very regulated by European standards of everything. You just saw my brochure, it's all European.
Yes.
European regulation, which is very strict.
Fantastic.
America is regulated by few organizations like Fur Breeders Association and few other things. And as I said, it's regulated by CITES office, which look after animals which is not allowed to take more than you want. So on my...
Which one, sorry?
The CITES office,
yes,
they regulate the quantity of skins you can take from the wild.
Yes.
And all the rest of the animals, which is not CITES, like for example raccoon, it's so many of them. It's not
going to be instinctive.
No need to be regulated.
Okay,
it's too many. So I think at the moment it's very well regulated a trade.
Yeah.
It's no problem of welfare of the animals anywhere except China.
Yeah.
China is a special country.
Yeah.
We don't deal with Chinese fur. We don't buy or sell or don't do anything with Chinese fur. I think majority of fur produced in China goes for domestic market, or some goes to Russia. There's only 2 countries. I don't know where else is.
I wonder, in any case, what sort of animals could they breed there, or could they?
They have big mink production. They used to have very big mink production, and then have been reduced in the last few years because the prices were very low. And of course, the small, that's short.
They don't make any margins anymore.
They don't make any money, so they just don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
But this year the prices are stabilized, and we expect some sort of
Chinese mink to come on the market.
Yes, again.
Yeah.
But not on our market. We don't deal with Chinese.
Yeah, I got that,
It goes on internal market, and they manufacture garment from their own mink production, and I think majority goes to Russia.
I was wondering, you just mentioned the issue of price, and I was wondering whether all these regulations, which are a demand from the customer at the end of the day, because they want to know what the supply chain is like and whether the animals have been treated fairly, but do you think that as a consequence there's been an increase in the price of the commodities of the fur as a prime material?
Not really. The price of this special welfare regulation increased, but it's very inferior to compare to mink court, say, because we pay as a customer for the auction for this new organization. We pay 10 euro cents per skin.
That's welfare.
Welfare. Yeah, welfare. We pay 10 cents per skin from this year. This is new. It's very little. But if you want to have a special label when it says it's all certified, it's like 2 euro per garment. It's very little. It's
worth it.
It's very, very little. So I think it's inferior cost to this to openness of this trade, because lots of people think they are torture animal, which is wrong, which is not correct. and animals live in terrible
I don't really
conditions.
see the Scandinavians torturing animals. It's not really my
No.
thing, honestly.
And this is how we can prove to the consumer.
Yeah.
Then everything open is they can go to this organization, they can have a look at the reports on every farm in Denmark and Finland and Sweden and everywhere. They can have a look because this is independent organization.
Sure.
Doesn't belong to any neither farmers or auctions or anything.
Yeah, they're under
So it's completely open organization which consumer, if they want to check every farm.
Good.
And have a look how the animal been kept.
I think a really good and constructive evolution for fair trade. Because again, coming back to this experience of Modern School of Law, I mean, Miss Kedifidi, the professor there, showed us 1 or 2 videos. I was like, oh my God, I was fainting, out of my chair. And this was not the impression that I had about the furs, because for me, fur is very also emotional. My mum bought me my first fur coat when I think I turned 18 or something, which I still have, I still wear it. And also I eat meat. So I didn't really see the ethical problem in buying fur, and I still do. I buy leather, I buy fur, and I love it because it's a natural product and it's very beautiful. But I am under the impression that Anglo-Saxons, in particular, I'd say the UK or the US, they're a bit more reluctant to this sort of products, and with PETA and stuff. What is your view on this? Do you feel that in the world there are certain potential markets or actual markets which are more biased against fur?
Actually, UK never been biased. If you have a look at the older lady in this country, they all have 2 or 3 fur coat tucked somewhere there in the cupboard. So it was here, it was fashionable. Also, Italy, people still wear it. The people who bought it before, it's still very fashionable. I mean, they don't buy it now, some. But in UK, I think Peter did an extremely good job here to brainwash people for all these years that the fur is bad and fur is not allowed and everything else. But I never see anybody in UK throwing red paint on the steak eaters. Because on the steak eaters, because it's exactly the same. To raise a cow and raise a mink is the same thing. It's a farm business. Yeah. It's highly regulated both, and steak is allowed, but mink is not allowed. It doesn't matter. It goes for skin, and cows goes for meat. The principle is the same. Yeah. It's farming methods which we farm to use product for the consumer.
Yeah, as we say in French, you are preaching to a converted person already, because I totally agree with you. Yeah. But I have noticed this sort of political reaction almost to fur trade in certain countries. Well, in France, frankly, we're totally cool about it. As I said, in my family, I've been accustomed to wearing leather and fur from a very young age. And I love it, honestly. So, yeah.
I think in UK, this is a very easy target fur business, because we have very little voice and we have very little political grips.
Right.
So the easiest thing to do have been banned. Mink farm have been banned from UK.
Banned?
Yes, you cannot raise mink anymore. But this is it didn't achieve anything, because people lose job, but you can buy still mink in other countries. It's not like it's have been improvement on this account anyway. But I think now in 21st century, all this bad propaganda about fur, a little bit forgotten. PETA had lots of problems themselves, and they kind of let it go a little bit. And I think fashion-wise, it's coming back.
Absolutely. Totally.
And also, nobody wants to wear today in 21st century huge, rigid fur coat in black and brown like it used to be. Yeah. People want something fashionable, and this is what it is. It's not fur business anymore. It's fashion business.
True.
This is where we will thrive in the West.
Well, they knit the fur so that it's like, I saw some Fendi coats that were amazing. They were just knitting bits by bits all the fur, and it was just all super. I mean, it was so flexible, so fluid, beautiful.
Actually, this is a different technique. Also,
Karl Lagerfeld went on the record saying that he doesn't do fur for Chanel because the quality of the furs in France is just not high enough. But for Fendi, you would do leather products and fur products for Fendi in Italy because the quality of the leather and the fur is much better over there. So that was quite interesting, his point of view, that this is why there aren't many fur products at Chanel. I just wanted to come back on the sort of logistics of your business, because it's not like my business, where it's all in my brain and perhaps a few legal books and a laptop and a phone, and me being on the move all the time between Paris, London, South France and the US. You need a warehouse, right? You need to actually, when you go to these auctions, you buy some stock and then you need to store it somewhere. So how do you...
I usually buy for clients.
So basically it's shipped from the auction directly to the client? You don't have a stock in place somewhere?
No, I don't have. It's usually I buy as a fur broker. I buy...
You're an agent?
Like a broker. I buy for the client. And then goods needs to be processed in a dressing factory. I ship them to a dressing factory.
I see.
And after dressing factory, I ship to my client directly. So I never see the fair. Yes, that's true. So
you ship it to a dressing factory?
Yes.
What does that mean? Sorry.
All the fur sold at the auction is raw. Just like a not soft.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to manufacture in the garments or any fur pieces, you need to dress the fur. You need to process them to make them.
How do you dress them? You put them
This is a dressing factory which is doing this, and this is a very long process. You put them in the water and then you flash them.
Really?
Yes, it is.
All of the furs are treated like this?
All fur, yes.
Otherwise, they're just too raw.
Yes.
Is it to soften the skin, which is? Behind.
This is a big difference between raw skins, which we see in the auction. They're rigid
and rigid.
And there's a big difference between dress skins, which is nice and soft and ready for the manufacturer to produce.
Wonderful. And so, how long does that take, this dressing process? Usually,
it depends how this factory busy. Usually 2-3 weeks.
Oh, so that's quite quick. That's quite quick, I think.
If they're busy, it could be 4 weeks. It depends.
You're almost like a logistical agent as well, because then you have to make sure that the furs the furs are ready, and then you have to ship them to the client. So in Russia, Argentina, and Poland.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of logistics, you've got to take care about the insurance, the transport, making sure that all the costs of transport are paid. Wow. Okay.
Yes, it's a big job on itself.
I'm sure it is,
because some people don't do it as a brokers. They just buy skins, and customers have to deal themselves with all this problem, but my company does the whole service.
Of course.
Everything we do, because it's very time consuming, but this is service which I provide, which I think it's very good to have. My customer never remember what they've got. So always, Natasha, where is my 1,257 skins? I'm just all in my head.
Really? Yeah, of course. So we're really happy to delegate all the logistics and the process of preparing the skin for the dressing to you. And so I suppose, like in fashion, there are cycles. For example, the Fashion Week happens in Paris and the rest of the big fashion capitals, twice a year for women and twice a year for men. Are there also some cycles in the fair trade auctions?
Yes, our season starts in December.
Okay.
First auctions we have in December in Saga in Helsinki, and then
Saga is one of the main.
Saga, one of the auctions. Yes, it's in Helsinki.
Okay.
Then we go to Copenhagen, and then we have 5 auctions in Copenhagen a year, 4 auctions in Saga in Helsinki, and 3 or 4 auctions in Nafa, and 2 auctions in American Legend in America.
Whereabouts in America?
In Seattle.
In Seattle, in Washington, D.C. Okay. And
2 or 3 auctions in St. Petersburg for sable, exclusively. Only Russian sable.
Okay, so basically it's all year round.
Yes.
It's all year round, so you're always busy.
Always busy. I haven't been in there on the dry land since January.
You haven't been on dry land? What do you mean by that?
I mean, I've been traveling all the time. Also, we have big trade fairs. We have trade fair in Hong Kong and a big trade fair in Milan. So this, combination of auctions.
There are 3 auctions which you just mentioned in St. Petersburg, in Seattle, in Helsinki, and also, I think, of course, Copenhagen. And then you said about so these are commercial trade, professional trade fairs.
Yes.
Do you mind explaining to us how that works?
Yes, it's all manufacturers who produce garments or other pieces. They have big fair in Hong Kong. It's mainly Chinese production from Hong Kong. Also some Chinese, also some foreigners. And also in Milano we have mainly European producers who produce garments.
So it's just like an open plan, and they just show, all have booths.
Yeah.
They show their dressed skins.
Not the skins, the garments.
Right, okay, after they've been manufactured with some fur products from the dressed skins. Amazing. That's interesting. And so who buys this? Is it the brands or the fashion brands?
It's a retailer's boat.
Okay. But are these products, this manufactured
jackets, coats, everything?
Yeah, are they made for particular brands in mind, or
the biggest brand we have is Gianfranco Ferré.
Gianfranco Ferré, really?
Yes.
He's still big, that guy.
They have at this fair. Yes, they have his own production. The retailers come to this fair and order. Yes, and order designs, whatever they like. So this is the biggest brand we have. We have also a few others who are famous in our business.
Okay.
And Sables, and I don't think everybody knows them.
In terms of the fashion and luxury world, which brands do you think, according to you, Natasha, are the most technically and aesthetically expert at producing, manufacturing top garments?
The Fendi is very good at Ferré.
Fendi is fantastic.
Very good.
Really.
Ferré is very good.
Gianfranco Ferré.
Yeah.
But I thought that guy, I'm sorry to say that, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I thought actually his company got winded up. I thought it was liquidated.
No.
No, Gianfranco Ferré. Okay, well, yes.
They've probably been bought by somebody else.
Mm. So they have they're very strong in fur products.
Yes.
And leather,
very good. Yeah, Italian producers for them, very good manufacturers. All production done in Italy.
In Italy, right. So they just buy the furs and they do the production in Italy. Okay.
Yes, and it's very good quality, and the designs are also amazing.
Yeah, Fendi, I do agree with you, they're fantastic in fur. And so I actually met you, Natasha, through Oksana. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her surname because it's a bit difficult. Maybe.
Krastakutska.
Yes, thank you. That's the Oksana I know. And she's basically one of the co-directors of Furland, the wonderfully exquisite fur brand based out of Moscow. And that brings me to my next question, which is, do you think that also Russian brands are strong in manufacturing fur products?
On my personal opinion, her brand, this Furland, is the best in hat and the small accessories. The craftsmanship is the second to none. Yeah, it's not better.
She makes this beautiful, adorable gilet, like little, without
waistcoat,
waistcoats without any sleeves. Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
With some sort of Russian traditional embroideries. Oh.
Yeah, it's exclusive. It's very nice. Whatever they produce, I think they're the best company in this.
Yes.
In the world, I see many designs.
Furland?
Yes, I think so. Okay. In the small pieces, it's the best, and also hats. Nobody has so many models of hats. And Oksana is designer for this.
Okay, so she's not a commercial director.
She's commercial director and designing now. Right. This is, as you can imagine, it's very sort of hands-on process.
Yes.
Because you have to oversee everything. Every single stitch needs to be overseen. Every single garment needs to be overlooked, because it's just the quality needs to be there. We're doing something now in London also.
Sorry.
So we're doing something in London as well. So we're opening a new brand in London.
Oksana and you?
Oksana and me.
Oh, how wonderful. When? How? Tell us. If you can, of course.
If I can tell you a little bit.
Okay.
The brand, we have a name. It's called Scarlet London.
Ah.
This is new. And when? This is a good question. But quite soon. So you definitely will be invited for the opening of the brand.
That would be so fabulous, wonderful. Yes. So you want to be more involved in the retail side of things.
E-tail.
E-tail.
Yes.
Okay.
Internet sales.
Right. What, through players like Net-a-Porter and
Not our own website. Okay. We have to do lots of promotion. This is something completely different.
Yeah, but it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Wonderful.
We try.
You want to sell all over the world?
Yes.
Fantastic.
London is based very well for people to buy, because it's easy access to everything, much easier than out of Moscow.
Fair enough. Yes, probably.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Although we don't really know what's going to happen with Brexit, but I agree with you that even in terms of hours, because of the Greenwich Meridian time, it's so easy to work with Asia.
And also international shipments is no problem at all.
Right. Okay.
Well, just use DHL or TNT. That's no problem.
Okay, well, congratulations. That's lovely.
Thank you.
When is the opening, more or less, time?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. We have already products in London. We have the name, which is most important. We have website, and all this is not operational yet. But this is something coming.
I'm really excited for you guys. It's fantastic. Do you mind just kindly explain to us how your interest into this fur trade came out? I mean, it's a very niche sector, a very specific sector, and as I mentioned before, it's also been tarnished by quite a lot of bad press, so to speak. So how did you fall in love with that particular sector?
Well, I didn't fall in love. Somebody introduced me to this sector.
Okay.
And when I started in 1998. I didn't know much about fur, and this have been many years since 1998. It's 19 years I'm in the trade. I learned about trade with my customers, with my Russian customers together, because neither my customers or me didn't know anything about fur. I had very, very strict trading. We work long hours. In order to understand fur, it's not rocket science, but you need a long time. We think you need 10 years to train somebody if you want a specialist in fur. It's like sushi chef. It's a long time. It's so many specifics. You cannot remember it straight away. So you need to, by looking, by touching fur, this is how you learn. The different quality, different shades, different colors. It's taking a long time. So after 10 years, you finally... Anybody who learned it is going to be good specialist. It doesn't go immediately, like in 6 months. Not going to happen.
I didn't think that. You need to really develop a body of skills and become so specialized to deal with it. It's because you want to make sure you just buy the best products.
Yes, we need to make sure for our clients that we know the product very well. To know the product, you need to learn about product, and it takes a long time because every fur is specific. Mink has their own specification, and fox a different specification. Wild have different specification. So you need to learn every fur what it is and what it shouldn't be. And there's a big volume of learning needs to be done if you want to be good.
How and when and why did you decide to set up your own operation after a few years? What was the?
That was in 2013. So it's 3.5 years now.
Okay.
I think this has happened. I was very successful in working for the company. We did very good business. But
UK-based company.
I work for the company for the same business and the English company.
Okay.
But when you are more or less independent already, working for somebody else, and when you have your new ideas, what you want to do. It's not always shared with you. Your bosses, maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they told to do it. Maybe they have something else in mind. So every time, all my proposals never come to anything. And I decided if I want to do something, like I want to do Scarlet London now, I can do it. I know
it's a decision maker.
I am decision maker. I have also a very good support group which supported me in everything I do.
Good for you.
Very good people work for me.
What do you mean in terms of your accountant, your web designer?
My web designer, my accountants, and of course we have to process all the invoices for customers. We have to do all the buying later, all this set up on the internet.
Yeah.
So if you want to do something, if you have any ideas, this is the best thing to do if you have your own company. Of course, this is a big risk and lots of work. It doesn't happen automatically. You only have 2 hands, and everything needs to be done. Probably. So this is how I come to the conclusion that in order for me to do it, I probably have to do it on my own. And I was probably right, because whatever I think to do, if I want to do this, I can do it.
And did you actually have to sort of start from scratch in 2013? Did you have to build your client base again, or did you manage to?
Lots of clients came with me because we started together in 1998, and majority of clients remained with me.
Like
this is why.
like Ferland?
like Fairland, like few like all others, because they always felt we have very good connection and very good relationship.
That's fantastic. Well done.
And I am highly professional person who doing. They can see it. Customer can see it.
Yeah.
What I know, I have catalog done. This is big book at the auction. They can see everything. And also not full. And this is why they stay with me.
Did you manage to grow your roster of clients over the years? Or?
I have few new clients, but unfortunately, the business in Russia is not going up. It's reducing.
Because of the trade sanctions?
No, because of the sanctions first, and because of disposable income. Russia is not getting richer.
Is it not?
No.
Well, to be fairly honest, there's a large portion of Americans as well are not getting richer. So.
I mean, in Europe, probably also nobody gets richer. It's a difficult time for everybody.
I guess you might be right. Yeah. Although, yeah. Do you think it's going to stay like this for a long time? Because the growth prospects are quite good. In Europe, in America,
in Russia,
what's it like?
In Russia, everything depends on oil price.
On the what?
Oil price.
Okay.
Russia is a huge oil producer.
Okay.
And this is this is the only commodity, oil and gas, what they live off. If prices go up, the economy of Russia going up, and disposable income in the pocket which they can spend on the fare going up also. So this will be good for everybody.
That's interesting. So it's a bit like in the Middle East, where they were so highly reliable on oil and gas. Probably more oil and gas, actually. Wow. Okay.
So this is we just have to hope everything will stabilize. And few last years, all the big brands were relying on Chinese revival of buying.
Yeah.
I think Chinese have been buying for a few years, and I think they don't want to buy as much as before.
Sure.
And also some sort of little bit of crisis coming in China as well.
Yeah.
We also see it in our industry, where our prices decreased threefold for the fare.
For the fur trade?
Yes, because
it's decreased threefold.
Yes, because we used to have an average price for the mink $120. It's gone down to $40. Under $40.
How can you survive?
This is very difficult. We have been going through the very difficult time in the fair trade, and this is all down to Chinese, because Chinese consumption is not as good as before.
No, there's been a crackdown on the massive expenses, which. I mean, the Chinese government...
expenses and smuggling and all this, this is you see in our industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Chinese officials and the Chinese government have tried to crack down on all these Chinese going and buying some gifts and very expensive. Yes, exactly, for their friends, or to get some business done. So. Yeah, it's been definitely a crackdown. Wow, okay, so fashion brands are basically starving to death or something. Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, since they are your buyers of furs, in a way it's quite good for them if the prices have gone down, because they can buy the...
Yes, it's much better for my Russian client, because finally we can afford to buy fur at the normal prices.
I see.
So this is it was very difficult when prices going up every auction, and the prices reach such a levels we've never seen before.
I see. So for you, in a way, it doesn't really matter too much, because you are representing the buyers of all this fur.
Yes.
Yeah. So in any case for you, it's quite okay. It's more for the auctioneers and the people who actually go and produce the furs. For the farms, it was very difficult. And the hunters who are hunting the wild.
Yes, it was very difficult, very tough few years. But I think the prices stabilize now at the level which is acceptable for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Farms can survive, not make much money, but that will be sustainable.
I heard that a lot of Scandinavian farmers actually they have a double activity. They do the farming of the various animals on one hand, but on the other hand they have some additional income coming from other activities. Is that something that you've noticed when you go to Scandinavia? No. Usually they are full-time employed in their operations.
Oh no, yes, you're right. They're doing a part-time job on the farm.
That's right.
Yes.
It's part-time, because everything is automized, so it's not like
they just need to feed mink twice a day.
Yeah.
They do it in the morning before their main job.
Right.
And then come back. Lots of farms in Denmark, family-run small farms.
Yes, yes.
And this is like additional income. Indeed. And they like it. It's a hobby.
Right.
which is also make money for them on a good year.
Okay, I see. And the way they hedge their bets, because this is not their main source of income anyway. They have another job.
Lots of farms.
It's
Yes, lots of farm in Denmark runs like this.
Yeah.
It's a family small business.
Yeah, so what I heard was right. Okay.
Yes.
How do you see this evolving? I mean, do you think that there is still quite a good future for business for fashion luxury products, or you think that, I don't know, maybe with the new type of materials which are coming up in the market, like Internet of Things or garments which are connected to your body or to your devices, do you think that, or even to your emotions, do you think that the fur trade may suffer for this, or do you think there's a good future ahead?
I think in some of the areas of the world, like for example in Russia, in London, is not necessary. People would wear fur because they want to wear fur.
Sure.
In some of the part of Russia, you need to wear fur because it's very cold.
Very cold.
So this is another thing which Russians like fur because of the weather. This is a huge factor for us.
Yeah.
If it's cold weather, our sales are very good. If it's warm winter, we don't have sales. Our sales drop dramatically. So we totally depends on weather as well as everything else. So it's one of the industry which is very strange, but we do depend on this. But I used to live in Irkutsk for 1 year, and in the winter we have temperature -45, -40, and it's nothing would save you from this temperature except fur.
Where is it?
Irkutsk.
Irkutsk.
It's in Siberia. It's very cold.
-40.
-40, -45 in the winter. And this is last for a long time, since from November until could be March or April now.
Right.
So you really need a fur coat for these conditions. As I said, if for some region in London you don't need it because of the weather. It's more for fashion. The weather you don't need it. You need a parka, and that's all you need. But in some of the part of the world, this is why when some people said you don't need to wear fur, they probably never been in Irkutsk, never experienced this weather, which they think you can get away with little, like a fabric coat. You can't. You'll die, literally die. You freeze to death. This is why in Russia people fully realize it's a big area which is very cold climate on the east of country. All Siberia, so fortunately they do need to wear fur, so we will be all right.
So are you saying that fur is warmer than any thermal product, for example, from the North Face, or?
Yes, of course, it's warmer.
It's warmer.
Yes, you can wear a fur coat and be very comfortable and warm at very low temperatures.
Okay.
So yes,
it's amazing. Huh? And
you do need it. You do need it. It's all natural.
So you don't think there are any other materials which are as warm as fur as of today?
I think this is Arctic parkas when they have feathers inside.
Or feathers. Yeah, like goose down. Yes,
it's probably also very warm, but it's also not. It's not, strictly speaking, the warmness of this. Unfortunately, desirability of fur in Russia is still very high. So women of Russia, they want to wear fur.
Yes,
fortunately for us.
Yes.
In the West, people don't want to wear fur anymore. In Russia, ladies want to wear fur, so it's very good for us.
Well, you seem to be really passionate about your job. Doing quite well. I wouldn't say booming because of what you said about the increasing prices and stuff. So, but I wish you luck in finding some new clients. You know where potentially some people would be more susceptible of becoming your clients. Which part of the world would you?
I think
prospect.
These low prices of mink production created this situation when farm cannot carry on anymore, including farms in Russia.
Okay.
So I think we're going to have more manufacturers in Russia who manufacture inside the country from Western fur. And this is, I think, manufacturers is my next step in finding clients in Russia.
manufacturers of fur products.
Yes, because my main
like
client,
in Italy, like they're doing in Italy, even now that will be in Russia.
Yes,
I'm sure it's going to be absolutely delightful what they do. I mean, when I look at the quality of the fur products, I'm like, flabbergasted. So it might be very interesting.
Russian production, the quality is very good.
I'm sure
they either don't manufacture at all or manufacture to high standards.
Yeah,
it's not like Chinese production.
Do you know, I don't know whether you were aware of this, but on the streetwear side of things, there are some brands at the moment which are Russian and they are really coming quite strong, such as the guy who is the creative director of Balenciaga, so Domna, can't remember his surname, but his brand is Vêtements. And I don't think he's Russian per se, but I think he was educated and he grew up in Russia.
Really?
I think so, yes. Domna something. And then there is another guy called Gora Goritsky. Russian brands are doing really well in the streetwear segment. And they have a lot of style. So I look forward to that, to this evolution, more on the creative process with more Russian products. It would be quite interesting. And also, to a degree, it will diminish the dependency that they have on oil and gas.
Yes, that's true.
Which, frankly, is not going to go on forever, as we all know.
No. Yeah. There's probably an alternative source of energy already been exploited everywhere.
Hopefully.
Which we don't know.
Hopefully. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Natasha.
You're welcome.
Wonderful and extremely insightful. Thank you. Do you want to mention perhaps your website of Scarlet Rosefinch? Is it?
Yes, it's very simple. www.scarletrosefinch.com.
Okay.
All information is there and all contacts is there. So if somebody would like to come to the auction or have a look at Dressing Factory, it's actually in Paris or Milan, so you don't have to go far.
Really?
Yes.
The Dressing Factory?
Yes. Wow. One in Paris, one in Milan. And we can arrange this.
I volunteer.
Anytime. You're very welcome.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Thank you for listening to our podcast, Lawfully Creative, produced by Crufovi Studios. Subscribe to our podcast or catch up with our original shows on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and SoundCloud.